stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
And we're back. Good morning. Morning. We are doing some more talking. Hi, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. I usually meet with somebody on Wednesdays at 11, but they were not able to meet today. So I figured I'd go live. So. What's this? Amber sending me something. Okay. I'll go back and watch that. Because you're probably not going to want to listen to it. But it's funny because of the friend that I was talking to, her name's Christine. She's like, how are you going to celebrate today? And I said, well, I'm going to do the same thing I do every day. I'm going to help other people, man. You know? So their loss, our game. Well, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that. So I'm going to be doing a lead tonight. Amber's, I'm not sure if it's their home group or not. I'm pretty sure it is. Their home group, Night Owls. I'll be doing a lead, 20-minute lead. And it's going to be freedom through the 4-step. It'd be funny as fuck if I played it here. All right, give me a second. We're going to play it here. I got to set it up, though. Like, I got to pause it and all this other stuff. So, okay, let's pause it. It won't let me redo it, though. So we're only going to see like half of it. No, that's that one. All right. Everybody ready?
Well, hi, go fuck yourself. Suck a bag of dicks. Eat a big old pile of shit. Wash it down with camel piss, you stupid bitch.
All right. Well, yeah, that's enough of that. Okay. My friends. So Amber said, yeah, the group is called Gather Together, aka Night Owls. They're my home group. I used to be in a band called AKA. And what we did is we were AKA, and then our name would change every time we played. Right? AKA blah, blah, blah. AKA blah, blah, blah. Yet we definitely made it more confusing than it needed to be. The first band I was in was called the Sofa Kings because we were so fucking good. So fucking, right? Sofa Kings. It's the positivity song. Sucking a bag of dicks. I'm not sure if that's really a quality positivity. I think it had more, it seemed more like meet my boundaries. Hey, Leisure, good to see you. Yeah, it's still morning. Still morning. So we're going to start out. We're going to be in, we'll get to the big book here. But part of this was I'm reading this as out of As Bill Sees It. AKA politicians. Welcome, Daily Trudge. If you're here, please say hello. We're watching live, rewatch, all that fun stuff. And Amber says it depends on what you're into. That is true. It really depends on what you're into. So I'm a Some people like camel piss. I'm sure. Well, if you're really thirsty, right? Yeah, and then we changed the name each time we played. It was AKA whatever. I'll remember one of the ones. Some of the stuff we didn't even play enough for us to really get into that. It fell apart before it got anywhere. The most of what we used to do is we would actually play half times at roller derby. So we were a roller derby band. We sucked. We were very good. Anyway. In that band, I was the drummer, and Shannon, my wife, was the bassist. She plays bass. I actually bought her a bass like Prince's. She got a purple bass. So, oh, Brian, you snuck in there. Hi. I think it just kind of mixed with some other things, so I didn't see you. But hi, it's good to see you. All right. So, recovery through giving. In the first 6 months of my own sobriety, and this is Bill, right before he met Dr. Bob. In the first 6 months of my own sobriety, I worked hard with many alcoholics. Not a one responded. Now, if you go read the story, Dr. Silkworth actually confronts him. And he's like, you need to stop preaching. You need to stop telling them what to do. Okay? It's not going to work that way. You cannot come from a pious side. Right? Urine is cleaner than tap water, says Leisure. Amber says they drink the pee because it distills their mushrooms. I actually had a dream last night that I was live and somebody posted something about mushrooms. I had a dream about it. I just remembered it. Amber also says when the peddlers come on here, we know they're pee drinkers. Yeah, so for anybody else, a lot of times we get people on here, they try and peddle their mushrooms. So that's who we're talking about. So we're just having some fun. But Dr. Silkworth had to tap Bill W's enthusiasm, is what we'll call it. Right? So, yet this work kept me sober. It wasn't a question of those alcoholics giving me anything. What can this new person really give me? Because I'm not going to go for the, well, they remind me it doesn't work out there. Yeah, I already know that. I know it doesn't work out there. And maybe it may be true for other, it may be different for other people. And that's okay too. If it reminds you that it doesn't work out there and keeps you in the program, then they actually did do something for you, didn't they? But what does this person really have to offer? Well, they can offer their time to me, but they don't have a solution yet. All right. You're talking about the bicyclers. Yeah, because they're peddlers. I get it. Bad mom joke. My stability came out of trying to give, not out of demanding that I receive. And that's the key, right? Doing those in-person 12-step calls. Okay. And by 12-step call, I mean you're talking to a person that you did not meet in AA. Right? Because the process is we go out, we find these people, we 12-step them and sponsor them into AA. And that's how it's supposed to work. That is the way it is outlined in the book. All right. And no, I'm not going to pick on the willingness to sponsor and things like that, because sponsor is not in the big book. Closed Mouth Friend is. It was just kind of a name that we came up with. Sorry, I'm looking at certain things at the same time. Oh, yeah, somebody wants to argue with me about rock bottom. All right. Won't do it now. Probably won't do it today. Yeah, but today's a good day so far. So anyway, and of course I took the thing out, so I don't even know what page I'm supposed to be on in the big book, but I guarantee it's in working with others. So we're just going to go to working with others. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to skim through this chapter. I'm going to skim through it because it's got a lot of stuff to it. Right on. Okay. I was supposed to do a podcast with this guy named Bill yesterday, and I've been planning my stuff like shit. So I'm like, okay, can we do it tomorrow? Not remembering that it was my birthday and I had other plans. So we're going to do it next Tuesday. So that I will say the 12th step is showing someone the steps, not telling them, just telling them about AA or hosting a meeting. Agreed. Telling them about AA or hosting a meeting, that's service work. A 12th step call is the depth and weight. It's the depth and weight that we bring to them, and we help them find their willingness to get sober. That's pretty much what a 12th step call is. And we utilize our own past in order to get that done. That's why it is important that we settle our past, that we not regret our past, or anger will pop out. And that person's really not going to want to listen if I'm angry. All right. So practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. So don't bother with the other activities. This is the same kind of thing where your child is not listening to you. Maybe your child's got a remote in their hand. I've even got a remote over here. So we'll have a visual display. And then they play with the remote. Can you put the remote down? Could you please put the remote down? And I'm still playing with the remote for those that don't have a camera. Put the fucking remote down. See, don't let things build up to anger. Just go straight to put it down. And I don't even have to use anger in order to get there. Right? So in this case, it works when other activities fail. So go straight to helping other people, other alcoholics. Amber says sponsor is just a word for someone who teaches a 12th step. A host is someone doing service. Telling someone about AA is ensuring the hand of AA is always there to help. It works when other activities fail. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other alcoholics. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Remember, they are very ill. All right. Being a sponsor, Amber says, being a sponsor is step 12, but with word or label like God is a word. And yes, that is correct. I do not work it that way. Step 12 is service work, and my sponsoring is not service work. To me, service work, I'm doing service work right now, or when I run a meeting, or chair a meeting, or pour the coffee, or run the camera, or maybe do verifications, or a greeter, or make the coffee, or clean the, but my sponsorship is separate for me. But it is still very much service work. It just depends on how you want to utilize it. So, And then come the 12th step promises. Life will take on new meaning. And gosh, we need that. We need new meaning. We need a new set of morals. We need a new set of values. Right? There's something about how my problems go away because I'm helping somebody else with their problem. Seems to work for me. All right. And life has taken on new meaning. I actually have meaning in my life now. I have a lot of meaning. I'm not useless anymore. Amber says, I know some people in the program with 5-10 years who have gone through the steps, but never showed someone how to use the steps. Yeah, I've met a lot of people that refuse to take on sponsors, or sponsees, as we call them in the program. I don't really want to get into that because I might sound kind of judgy. Will you stay sober? You might. It's two-stepping. You might for a little bit, but there are benefits of the program that you will not receive. In other words, you will not get these promises right here. You won't. You might get some of them by watching a newcomer come in and reclaim their lives, but there's something about knowing that you might have had a little bit to do with it. We're not claiming their recovery. We're not taking credit for their recovery, but knowing that we were just there and available brings a whole new set of benefits. And they are as follows: to watch people recover, to see them help others. See, when you take somebody through the steps and then you see them start to pass it on to the next person, you won't get that unless you do it first. We're supposed to go through the steps over and over and over again. The first time is with your sponsor. Then this is my experience. It might be different other people, and that's okay too. Okay. Some people like to go through the steps with another sponsor, maybe get a different view. Nothing wrong with that. But at some point, we have got to pull up our big boy pants, our big girl pants, and trust in our higher power that they are going to give us the right words in order to help somebody else out. Leisure says 12 step to me is using my new life and perspective to help and support people who have yet to understand and comprehend the program. And it's a beautiful possibility. Yeah. And being available. You can be a closed mouth. If you want to call a closed mouth friend, call a closed mouth friend. Like Amber is saying, it's sponsor is just a word in this case. It denotes that sponsor means I finished the 12 steps. It's it. Right? Now, when you go through the steps over and over again, you learn something new. But if you're not the one teaching, you're going to miss certain things. Your brain does different things when it is teaching other people how to stay sober. When you let other people know your skills, you cannot keep this precious gift unless you give it away. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away now. Afternoon, Heather. Good to see you. Refreshing to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you. That's happening to me right now. That is happening to me right now. Agreed, Amber. Well, I agree and I don't agree. But there again, it's just our own. Amber says we will forget the pain and the suffering. Yeah. Because I used to be in jail, and the next weekend, I'd forget all about it and have court on Monday and forget about it too. And I forgot the suffering of a week or a month ago. I see people stay sober. I do not see them very happy. Yeah. Got to make that shift. There's always more gifts. There's always more benefits. There's always more dividends. And it increases. And when we let God supply those things, they're fucking miracles. Amber says, my mother has 20 years and is suffering more than when she was drinking. Yeah, because she's not getting what she wants. She's not getting that ease and comfort that we get. And why do we get that ease and comfort? This right here, working with other people, giving it away. You cannot keep the precious gift unless you give it away. I know I already said that. To see a fellowship grow up about you. Right now, today, this is happening. I just went to a 10 o'clock meeting. Of course, a lot of compliments. Dion, we like how you say things, how you do it. You're a big benefit to this group, and we appreciate it. And they're thanking me for my time, and I appreciate that. I've worked very, very, very hard at my recovery. I've worked very hard at becoming a different person. I work very hard at trying to stay open-minded. It's okay for me to change my mind. That's all right. Sometimes I'll bring something up. Somebody will say something. I'll be like, that's a much better way of looking at it. But I would have never found it out if I wouldn't have opened my mouth and been wrong. And I'm wrong often. Which means I'm learning. So, to have a host of friends, this is an experience you must not miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives. That's the bright spot of our lives. Look how much I go live. Look how many meetings I go to. It is not always because a lot of times because I want to see my friends. That's why I started the grassroots meeting. All right. We're going to go to page 92. If you are satisfied that he is a real alcoholic, begin to dwell on the hopelessness feature of the malady. Show him from your experience how the queer mental condition surrounding the first drink prevents normal functioning of the willpower. Do not at this stage refer to this book unless he has seen it and wishes to discuss it. And be careful not to brand him an alcoholic. Let him draw his own conclusion. If he sticks to the idea that he can still control his drinking, tell him he possibly can if he is not too alcoholic, but insists that if he is severely affected, there may be little chance he can recover by himself. All right. The diagnosis. There is only one person in this world so Dion being an alcoholic, there was only one person in this world that could diagnose it. Me. The diagnosis of alcoholism can only be done by the individual. I cannot call you an alcoholic or say that you are an alcoholic until you say you do. I can't. I might say things like, well, they have a drinking problem or they're a problem drinker. There's a difference between those two, by the way. One's a little bit more severe. One's a little more severe. There's all sorts of types of ways that alcohol, binge drinking, people that drink every single day. There are some people that decide to go dry, but they do nothing about it. So therefore, they're miserable, like Amber was talking about with her mother. And I hope one day these people that are hurting find God, that they find their own higher power. I do. I wish it. Because everybody deserves to be wanted, needed, and loved. And I think that because I didn't think I deserved it. And I was wrong. Well, if I was wrong about me and everything that I'd done, then maybe, just maybe, I'm wrong about that. We're around thinking people that justice needs to happen. I cannot dole out justice anymore. It's not my job. I'm not supposed to, right? Even though I would like to. Even though I would like to. So do not brand them an alcoholic. Do you think you're an alcoholic? You can ask that. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Amber said, oh, she's got God too, but faith without works is dead. And she ain't got God. We know that. But I do appreciate you giving her the benefit of the doubt because she's a child of God. I also caught that in that sentence. Thank you for that. It's one of the reasons I love the hell out of you, Amber. You tend to see the good in most things. If you are satisfied he is a real alcoholic, that we just did that one, okay? But yeah, we have to insist, hey, and how are we going to do that? Well, I tried to do this, I tried that. It didn't work. It wasn't until there were other people in my life that knew what I was doing. It wasn't until there were other people in my life that could call me on my bullshit that I changed. Continue to speak of alcoholism as an illness, a fatal malady. It is a mental illness. And that's not really on them, is it? It's not your fault you're an alcoholic. It's not anybody's fault that you're an alcoholic. We were born this way. I absolutely believe that. There's just too much evidence. And since I'm a man of faith, right? I can tell you what your family is like. I don't even need to talk to you. I need to know how many brothers and sisters you have and your mom and dad. And I will be able to figure out pretty quick whether you were the black sheep, the lost child. See, it connects. So when I'm working with somebody new, I tell them, here's the thing. It is not your fault that you have a mental illness. It's not your fault. But we are going to take responsibility. We have to do that. Whether we have to take responsibility for our actions. We got it. Especially as alcoholics. Talk about the conditions of the body and mind which accompany it. Keep his attention focused mainly on your personal experience. Explain that many are doomed who never realize their predicament. Doctors are rightly loath to tell alcoholic patients the whole story unless they'll serve some good purpose. Okay? This is the difference between this servant-hearted doctor, because there's a lot of professionals out there that do want to help us, but it's you and I that can go over the malady. But we're not talking about their malady. We're talking about our malady so that they go, wait a minute. You go through that too? Like I bring up intrusive thoughts all the time. Like if I go to a meeting and I'm like, I get intrusive thoughts all the time. You'll see this with you, the heads will nod. Yep. Because it happens to all of us. I say that to create hope so that you know. And the 12th step is the same thing. We are meeting them where they are at on a physical, emotional, mental, and for darn sure a spiritual level. I've never read the Bible. I'm telling you now, my pastor, Pastor Marcia, quite often sits there and says, Dion, this is the same work that Jesus did, that Job did. You remind me of Job. You remind me of this. You remind me of that. And that is God saying, Dion, you are on the path that I want you on. I have a deep, deep faith in my higher power. It's very deep. How deep is your love? Your love is your love. But you may talk to him about the hopelessness of alcoholism because you offer a solution. There's a big difference. See, the doctor doesn't have the solution, but they can help us get to the solution. You will soon have your friend admitting he has many, if not all, the traits of an alcoholic. If his own doctor is willing to tell him he is an alcoholic, so much the better. Even though your protege may not have entirely admitted his condition, he has become very curious to know how you got well. Let him ask you that question, if he will. Tell him exactly what happened to you. Stress the spiritual feature freely. If the man be agnostic or atheist, make it empathetic that he does not have to agree with your conception of God. He can choose any conception he likes, provided it makes sense to him. The main thing is that he be willing to believe in a power greater than himself and that he live by spiritual principles. That's it. Don't need to overwhelm them with God. Should be a nice, we're going to try and make this as an easy and nice transition as we can, right? I'm going to read this next paragraph and then I'll move forward a little bit in the chapter. When dealing with such a person, you had better use everyday language to describe spiritual principles. Everyday language. What does that mean? It means God. It's a universal word. Okay. We also do not, I went through this with a lot of recovery coaches, right? Where they wanted to use the words that were clinical and, well, do you think you have AUD? Well, what the fuck's AUD? Now I'm talking above their head and they're doing that on purpose so they feel smart. Well, because I'm going to teach you what AUD is. It's a clinical term and does not need to be used. It was one of the complaints I had while I worked at Detox. I kept telling people, quit using AUD, SUD, CUD, stick with alcoholism, stick with drug addiction, and talk to these people like they're people. You don't need to talk above their head. If you do, they're gone. That is not meeting somebody where they're at. That is pride. There is no use arousing any prejudice he may have against certain theological terms and conceptions about which he may already be confused. Don't raise such issues, no matter what your own convictions are. It doesn't matter what my convictions are. My job is to help them find their higher power. All right. Assuming, no. All right. I'm going to go to page 101. I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs. In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to fail. If the alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed for a time, but he usually winds up with a bigger explosion than ever. We have tried these methods. These attempts to do the impossible have always failed. Good luck trying to avoid alcohol. You won't even be able to watch TV. You won't be able to leave your house. You won't be able to look at your neighbor's trash. We cannot wrap ourselves up in bubble wrap. We have got to find a higher power. We have got to get courage under our belt. We need the courage, man. I know I do. God has given me a lot of courage. I've been through some really hard shit in the last 9 years, man. At one point, I was hidden away in my house. My hair was all long. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. All right, anyway. Ear ringing. It's not tinnitus. It's just blah, blah, blah. All right. Now I'm going to go to 102, and I'm kind of just going to wrap it up here. So your job now is to be at the place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others. So never hesitate to go anywhere if you can be helpful. You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid spot on earth on such an errand. Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. Yep. It's true. That's my experience. He has kept me unharmed. And I do some pretty nerve-wracking things, man. Heck, I was talking to the news yesterday. They want to know about the things. That shit gets scary. Having talked to executive directors, try and take down the attorney general. These are people that could destroy my life if they wanted to. They have the power for it. But they'll never be able to take God from me. Ever. They can't touch this. Right? Many of us keep liquor in our homes. I do not. We often need to carry green recruits to a severe hangover. We have detoxes now. We have detoxes in hospitals that will help with this. Okay. We don't really help people get off the hooch as much. And I agree with that because the detoxing from alcohol it kills people. So having a safer environment, I agree with, but it doesn't always work out that way. I've had to do that when I got sober the first time. There were a couple of times we had to help people sober up. Right? It was at the Phoenix Concept. And there was one guy, we had to give him alcohol. There was alcohol in the halfway house, but we knew what it was used for. And there were, and nobody tried to go after it. Nobody tried to take advantage of it or anything else. Nope. Some of us still serve it to our friends, provided they are not alcoholic. But some of us think we should never serve liquor to anyone. We never argue this question. We feel that each family, in the light of their own circumstances, ought to decide for themselves. That's your choice. If you want to keep, my stepdad, he's like over 40 years sober. He uses wine to cook with, but it burns out the alcohol. I don't eat it, not because I'm afraid that there's alcohol in it, but because it tastes like shit. Never liked the taste of wine. We're careful never to show intolerance or hatred of drinking as an institution. Experience shows that such an attitude is not helpful to anyone. Every new alcoholic looks for this spirit among us and is immensely relieved when he finds we are not witch burners. A spirit of intolerance might repel alcoholic whose lives could have been saved had it been not for such stupidity. I can't hate on alcohol, man. I can't hate on alcohol. Hate will not solve anything. Not only that, but if I'm hating on alcohol, I still have an alcoholic mind. We would not even do the cause of temperate drinking any good. For not one drinker in 1,000 likes to be told anything about alcohol by one who hates it. All right. Someday, we hope that Alcoholics Anonymous will help the public to better realization of the gravity of the alcoholic problem, but we shall be of little use if our attitude is one of bitterness or hostilities. Drinkers will not stand for it. After all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were only a symbol. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything. We have to. All right, good stuff. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.